It's a Stranger Nerds here. Got myself, Connor Vandermark, Tommy Grant, Mitchell Lee, and finally got through season 4. And now we're going into some little bit of recaps and predictions and have fun with it. Because, it's been a grind. Let's be real. Like, how long
It
have we
has
been doing
been
this
a
now?
long grind. It's been
Full
over a year
year?
between multiple hiatuses, between me being out for a while, and I don't know. I feel like there's something else in there, but mainly me, because I had to work and get a different job and all that. But
Same. I got a new job in between this. I got engaged.
Mitch was a whole new man from the
Yeah.
start of this podcast.
I'm the same, man.
I
My
actually
beard's now more
changed my
fuller.
name to
That's the only
Jeff.
difference.
We've just been slightly better at reviewing a TV show, whereas Mitchell has been practicing because he's well versed in reviewing movies.
I feel like we've all actually gotten much worse. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? That's fine because this is just for fun. And that's what this episode is going to be. It's just a bullshit, have fun, and talk about what we loved and didn't love about this show. Because, as you all know, I started this because I loved this show, and I hope Connor now feels the same, having been through the grind of 4 seasons.
It's well regarded in my mind.
Now, had we not done this podcast, do you think you ever would have actually gotten around to watching the show and loving it as much as you have?
I think I would eventually. No, again, usually I have to have some external reason to watch a show. Like, kind of the same reason, like, if Game of Thrones, like, my sister gave me her HBO account and I will watch it eventually. But, like, to me, I kind of joke with my girlfriend about this. It was like, me doing this podcast with you is like, this is like book club to me. And I enjoy this because,
No, that's fair.
And I enjoy that kind of connection that TV shows do bring. And it makes it more fun for me and more engaging, because especially now that how Netflix stuff happens these days, it is a lot more of a binge kind of thing, and that's it. And I don't really enjoy that as much. So this is something I did really enjoy. Like, I did look forward to it. Like, watch a new episode. And like, there's a few episodes like, I want to keep watching this. Like this, it really hooked me.
Then we gotta start getting you on some of these movie podcasts, Connor.
I know.
Movies are tough, man. Like, I do like movies. It's like a no.
You can't say they're tough because you just watched movie length episodes of Stranger Things.
One.
Yeah, I'm with Connor on this one. It was just one episode that was like that.
Like, I'm good for a movie like once a month, but like when it comes to movies, I'm not a fiend like you, Mitchell. I'm sorry.
Wow. Once a month. Let's see. I'm probably around like the 260 mark for the year as far as different movies that I've watched. Let's see. 262.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, it's I could be committed.
To me, like, video games scratch that itch for me, not movies. Like, I'm very much someone who loves playing video games because I feel more entrenched into the experience. I have more of a stake into it. I definitely like a lot more like the next game that is currently on my list is Baldur's Gate. And as someone who's played the first Baldur's Gate, I'm about to play the second one soon. Baldur's Gate 3 looks fantastic.
Is Baldur's Gate Dungeons and Dragons, or am I getting my wires crossed?
No, you're correct. Pretty much the developers, I think it's starts with a T. Tolarian. That's not right. That's more of a magic card. I forget who they are. But pretty much it's underneath the hood is the D&D rule set, and like, no, there's dice rolling that you don't see exactly when it comes to combat, but it does happen, and it's pretty much happening. It happens in the world of D&D. I'm blanking on different names of it right now. It's just bleh. But yeah, it happens in the world, and these are actual characters that are relevant within the Forgotten Realms. That's the area that influence how it's like those actual D&D campaigns that Wizards of the Coast, the makers of the current edition Dungeons and Dragons, they actually have campaign booklets on these things.
Hmm.
So you can like if you want to run a campaign within that, you definitely can. But like Baldur's Gate's one of those games where it's like, oh, it's received so much praise, and
I've heard good things.
I've heard fantastic things, and I am very much looking forward to it. But I like that immersive experience. Like I'm currently playing Dead Space, fantastic game. Like I never played it before, and it was free on PS5 for this past month, and like my girlfriend likes me watching plays, so she's like the horror kind of scene, but like it's like living in Alien, and you're going through the spaceship and trying to unravel this web of how this all happened, and like the backstory of the this church that's kind of corrupting and having their own motives behind everything. So good. And no, it's like I don't rush into things. Like I don't like playing video games immediately where like
You don't like to get caught up in the hype.
yeah, like I've been
get
burned
that.
before. I've been burned before. I'm like, why do I care? I'd rather just wait for it to get on sale.
I'll be honest, I think I enjoy movies for two different reasons, and kind of getting to that argument of the hype. One, I like getting swept up in all of that and going with the crowd and kind of have an opinion right out of the gate. But then I also really like to watch movies like years after they come out, like 6, 7, 8 years more so, and revisit them completely divorced from all that hype and
Mhm.
see how my opinion has changed. And I really like doing that. I think that the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out last year was really good.
I was very
you should
impressed by
check that out.
I
You
actually
saw
seen
it.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Because to me, I kind of had vested interest in it. I was like, oh, okay, no, I want to see how it is, and I thought they did a very good job on it. Like, there's some tweaks I would do, but like,
Yeah, no, it's
overall,
not like the Dark Knight or anything like that, but like I
as
had a
in
lot of fun with it.
as in lore wise, like there's some things like the bard, the main character, he's honestly more a fighter than a bard. He's a fighter with a freaking his weapon is a glute.
Yeah.
But like overall, I thought it was a very fun. Like I like that kind of stuff. Like to me, like if I have a reason to, like, because to me, movies in like I see it very much as a collective experience. Like as you said, like watching with other people makes it more enjoyable for me. I don't like watching movies by myself because I don't know in sharing that experience something that I really do enjoy. And to say same with Stranger Things, it's like I enjoy sharing my experience with you doing these things, even though you guys are rewatching it. No, we're still having those connections, those conversations, and those are the things I enjoy like after a movie.
It's definitely going to be very different when we do season 5 because each one of us will be seeing this for the first time.
Yes.
Along with, we don't have years of people complaining about that one episode of season 2, and we don't have
that show.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have the benefit of hindsight to really, steer us toward one opinion or the other, or away from one opinion or the other. And I'm really looking forward to having that perspective, or rather that lack of perspective in season 5. It's going to be really cool to kind of react to that in real time rather than, we were doing seasons 1 and 2, or season 1 was 7 years after that came out. And we're going to be talking about these, I don't want to say instantaneously because they.
Well, I was going to mention that because
they are they dropping the first? What's the release strategy? Or they don't.
So they're doing 8 episodes. From what I've heard, I'm not sure if they confirmed it or not, but I've heard that they're all going to be roughly 2 hours.
Oh God!
Like it's gonna be a behemoth.
They're trapping you, Connor.
It's gonna be a large season.
I don't know if I like that. In fact, I don't like that.
I don't know if that's true. That's just a lot of things I've been reading online.
Rumors currently.
But before it leaves my mind, let me ask you, Connor.
Yes.
How would you have felt if they said, now I know that you weren't watching the show back then, but let's pretend we're in some alternate universe where you were watching the show when it came out.
Sure.
And they said, hey, last 2 episodes of Stranger Things season 4, we're showing them at your local movie theater.
Yeah, I'll be interested. Yeah,
And yeah, I felt like that was something that the
they
last
could have capitalized
episode
on.
in particular, with it being 2.5 hours, I'm like, hey, this has a lot of a cinematic feel to it. Let's go ahead and let's, you could definitely get people in there. I know I would have. Me and my fiance would have been there. Absolutely.
Yeah, at least like honestly, like a 2-week, 3-week showing alone is just enough.
Oh, I would have been down with like a week, even just
Yeah.
a week or a weekend. When it first came out, get the diehard fans to come out there, and you'd all have a really good time doing it.
And like you can even do it too, where like you have the movie, like kind of like how it actually is, like have it out in the movie theaters first, and then release the next week after too. You can kind of like play it up that way.
Netflix really hates movie theaters, and like I understand it, but it's frustrating as someone that loves going to the movies. But every now and then they'll do it, like maybe once or twice a year. Like they did it with the Knives Out movie Glass Onion a few years back, and it came out in theaters about a month before it was on Netflix. So
Okay,
and the
so
theaters were packed.
I want to ask something because I've been looking for streaming. I have not found it. Where is the original one? The original Knives Out. Is it on streaming somewhere? That's a movie I actually want to watch.
I'll tell you where it's on. This is deep movie brain right here. The studio I hate the most is Lionsgate, because most other studios, like Sony movies go to Netflix, Warner Brothers movies go to Max, Disney movies go to Disney Plus, Paramount movies go to Paramount Plus. Lionsgate movies go to Stars. Who in the hell has Stars? And I don't even know how long they stay there for. So Knives Out.
I only had Stars for 1 year, and that was because when I had moved into my Richmond apartment, the internet service was like, "Oh, you get a free year of
for a month."
Stars." And I was like,
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. However, Connor, I will tell you this: Knives Out was a movie that because I'm the movie guy to everyone. So whenever there's a movie that people really want to see, they're like, "Oh, I want to see it with you," which is great when the movie's good. And when it was, Rise of Skywalker, I hated my life. But Knives Out was a movie everyone wanted to see with me. So I saw that movie like 6 times in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. So, but I have 2 copies of Knives Out on DVD. I don't know why. I think I bought it and then
mail me one.
So if it's still, I will double check and make sure it is still there.
Go.
And if it is not, and if it is still there, I will send it to you.
So background for me is that I love murder mystery. Like I fell in love with Agatha Christie is my favorite author. Always loved her, and still like another one that's eluded me is Murders on the Orient Express.
I like that one.
I haven't seen that one.
Which it's an Agatha Christie book. I'm like, oh, and like I grew up
Gone Girl might be my favorite. I know it's not Agatha Christie, but that's just a classic to me.
But I always enjoyed that kind of like overall feeling of just I guess literature in the first place, and I was like, Knives Out is one of those things like it's kind of just I just missed it. I'm like, I kind of wish I did see it because I don't want to see Glass Onion first. I heard it is kind of more of a not as good.
I did not
remake.
I liked that almost as much. I liked the first one more, but I will tell you, it's different. I won't say anything more than that. It's got a different structure than,
which is good though. Like you don't want to go the same exact thing over. You don't want to rehash the same thing.
No, and I think that the only way that you could have done it the way that they did it is if you have an excellent cast and great dialogue. And hey, look at that! They had a great cast and amazing dialogue to work with, so they were able to pull it off. By the way, in case you're wondering, this episode is about Stranger Things.
Yeah, I thought the same exact thing. We said derailed.
I'm looking at these episode titles here. You've got The Crawl, The Vanishing of Redacted, The Turnbow Trap, Sorcerer, Shock Jock, Escape from Camazotz, The Bridge, and the right side up, of course, being the inverse of the upside
Which
down.
is fitting because the very first episode was titled The Upside Down, so it's fitting that the very
Nice.
last episode is the right side up.
Yeah.
I want to make another comment too. I bet Tommy, you picked up on this as well, but the year that they gave us is 1987. So that does give us a time jump.
Yes. So season 5 is exactly a year after, which I think is an odd choice. I'm curious as to how they're going to do it because season 4 ends with basically Vecna opening the portal. So assuming he's going to come that day, but now we're taking place a whole year ahead of that.
Man,
Yeah.
these time jumps sometimes can be just like
Well, after you mean?
Yeah. I just
he said ahead.
Yeah, it's a year ahead of.
Yeah, it's a year ahead.
They're younger?
No, they jump a year forward.
Season 5
I'm thinking, to me, ahead means past, as in
I get where you're confused.
Syntax.
It seems to me like one of those things that they would have to kind of pick up where they left off. But
that would make
I also kind of want to just trust it and see what happens, because I remember hearing when they were like Endgame takes place 5 years after Infinity War, and I was like, that's kind of a strange jump.
Yeah,
but it's like, hey,
time travel involved, it can get really.
Well, this isn't time travel. This is just time passing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like time jumps and stuff like that in the movie.
Can they go back in time and kill Will Byers and just, bypass all the rest of this stuff?
All right, so it's funny you say that because no, it's not what you're thinking.
Do you have inside information that they're going to kill Will Byers?
I wish I did.
I will throw a damn parade.
So the Duffer, I'm talking about in the sense of time travel, because as we know in the Upside Down, there's a concept of time that it works differently than on regular Earth.
Which I mentioned before.
And the Duffer Brothers released the first few lines of the script for the first episode. And it's described darkness, the sound of cold wind, groaning trees, and a child's voice singing a familiar song. To me, that screams that they're going to open up on Will Byers in the Upside Down when he was a kid.
I'm not reading into too much of that at all.
So
it's going to be someone we've never heard of before. It's going to be Jeff Carlton, and he's going to be singing this song about the wind blowing.
No, it's a child's voice singing a familiar song. It's going to be Will singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go?" Because there were pictures of Noah Schnapp with a younger actor of himself on set. So it's definitely going to be a young Will Byers. That's the only way I can see it.
You think?
Yeah. Because they're going to open it up. I can guarantee you, because Connor mentioned it, or one of you guys mentioned it last episode jokingly, of like, oh, they're going to open up with like 11 crawling through the pipes. So I'm almost curious if it's going to like open up with Elle crawling through the tunnels and then us seeing like Will in the Upside Down, because she recognizes him in the first season. She knows who he is. So I'm curious if there's another segment where she maybe sees Vecna in the Upside Down using her powers and sees Will there or something like that. I feel like it's gonna be like a weird like prequel connecting the dots from like season 1 to season 5.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm because again they're trying to make this nice and clean and like put a nice little bow tie on this, and like that's the thing too, is like because with how long has it been since season 4? 2 years
in terms of what, like real time, like
actual time, actually like us time.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah, so like I've been trying to think of production wise, and like because they are much older now, and like they didn't start shooting too more recently. So I am kind of glad that they are doing the, I guess, time jump in like the fact that like they are older and like they're all adults now, like So like the thing that I am curious how they're going to kind of cover up is won't say cover up, but like kind of close up some loopholes is like, oh, how they're gonna explain away, oh, there's just been a giant fucking crater in the middle of this town for the past year. Like that's a kind of significant thing, and like no, I can imagine they're going to have the attention of the world, and this is going to be a kind of significant event, at least in the history of this universe.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna go with like the end of the world type vibe, and if it's a year ahead of time, I can see them playing the whole like the world's gone to shit and the party is basically leading a resistance of some sort against Vecna, and it's kind of like a war torn Hawkins, Indiana.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that being the case. Because I don't know how else you would have Vecna coming to the real world for domination for a full year and not having it look like that.
Because we have, yeah. So I'm looking through this, and like that fourth episode, witchcraft. Like I think they're gonna really lean into like Santana Panic here, like, and like they're
Oh, you
going.
think there's gonna be wait, where do you see there being an episode called Witchcraft?
Yeah, isn't it?
It's titled Sorcerer.
Sorcerer. Sorry, I
Okay. So you think there's gonna be
bad.
you think there's gonna be more of that?
Oh, but Santana Panic, I think they're going to lean heavily on. I think that's going to be one that the one or more. Because
I disagree.
I do too.
I think for many reasons, I think Sorcerer is going to be probably our most hated episode because I can guarantee you that's going to be focusing purely on Will Byers' character because we know Will has always called himself Will the Wise and draws himself as a wizard. And his character in D&D, he plays a wizard. So I can guarantee you the title of the Sorcerer is going to be Will Byers doing some sort of...
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen now. The thing on Google just it gave me like it was just a completely annoying like they had some of them correct, some of them were wrong. It was so stupid.
Well, I have it on the show doc if you want to look at it.
I know. Yeah, so like, but I still think that you want to lean on it though because of the fact that like it is such a they left off with it, even mentioning like that. Oh, the Hellfire Club is like the news channel mentioning like, oh, the Hellfire Club is said to be a satanic cult, and the fact that was even on the news in the first place is pretty significant event. And who knows who's because there's people out there who are gonna honestly hunt these kids down for some point, and like I do think that they are going to be. I'm kind of curious how they're going to deal with that as like the person directing these episodes, and I wouldn't say it's something that I can see. I'd be surprised if they didn't lean into it hard, like and they just kind of ignored that whole thing of it.
Yeah. So I think the biggest question I have with these episode titles is obviously the elephant in the room of the vanishing of Redacted. Who do you think is going to be the one that disappears? Because I have a weird hunch that it's going to be somebody from the Wheeler family based off of Nancy's vision.
Where I'm putting my money on the vanishing of Nancy Wheeler.
I'm thinking either Nancy. I think it might be Holly.
Holly was once you said the Wheeler family, I was like, Holly is the only one who has not been involved in this yet.
Yeah, she's been hardly involved in the show. She's a young kid, and it's going to be a way for Mike and Nancy to really come together as siblings because, funny enough, they're the couple that haven't had much time together.
And plus two, like
it's very odd.
It being an early episode as well, where it could be a situation where like it was the Nancy's friend just disappearing in the very first season, but like someone being missing that early in a season and being a show title name,
yeah,
like it's gonna have to be significant person to kind of really drum something up here.
I think because Vecna is so egotistical and he likes to fuck with his victims, we had the whole moment with him and Nancy and how he was giving the whole evil villain monologue to her. He knows who she is. So I can almost see him like taking Holly and fucking with Nancy, like, oh, are you gonna let this one die too, like you did to
Yeah.
what's her name? And I think that'll unite Mike and Nancy because we haven't seen them really interact much in the show in terms of just like actually bonding and like working together. They've always had just like little on screen moments, but nothing to that extent.
Do you know what
So
I
that's
want?
what do you want, Mitchell?
Kill somebody. And I don't mean like, oh, well, we just introduced, I'm gonna keep going with Jeff. We just introduced Jeff here and he's gonna die. No, kill somebody that's actually been with us for some time. Max absolutely 1,000,000% should be dead at the end of season 4. There's
That's
no
another thing
reason
we
she
did
should
cover
still be
too.
alive.
I think Max is gonna have some powers.
Max is so. Ooh,
I feel like that's definitely the pivot because they're not just going to have her be like a vegetable. They're going to do something with her. Otherwise, they would have killed her off.
No, I think that like I can see with her like she's not gonna be a factor to like episode 4, in my opinion. Like I think that she's still gonna be like I think I don't know. Now I'm thinking because there is such a big time gap. Like what are they going to do with her? Like I don't. Is she still going to be under? Is she going to be disabled? Like some type of disabled at some
so
point?
I
Like
read a theory that I kind of like with her character, and think she's going to be kind of the in between person between the Upside Down and the Real World, where she's still in like a coma, but she is in mentally she's in the Upside Down,
yeah,
and she reports she's basically giving messages to 11 as to what's going on.
yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking as well. Um, yeah, like because that's interesting. Like no, again that's that giant time gap. Like oh, what are they going to do with her?
Yeah,
Also, Tommy, I know you've been looking stuff up. Um,
I love
so
Yeah,
reading
Tommy.
theories, dude. I just love watching and reading all the theories on movies and TV shows. It's interesting to see what other people come up with.
uh, have you heard anything from the so there's one word that kind of sticks out for me, or I guess it'd be named from this that sticks out to me in all these titles is Camazotz. So have you heard anything on that or yourself? I've been doing some
Yes,
digging as I'm doing this.
I actually have. Um, Let me pull up where I had it. Hold on one second. It was off of a book. Fuck, where was it?
Well,
Oh,
there's two different things on it.
so going off of the wonderful Stranger Things wiki, I'm not sure if that's where you are as well.
Nope, I went a different direction, buddy. Because
You
you should know
you
exactly
went
where I
to
went to immediately.
your D&D manuals, didn't you?
Not the manuals, but I did look through D&D lore stuff.
I knew it. Okay, so two things for this. One, it Camazotz originate from Mayan mythology, and they're bat-like spirits or demons that serve the lords of the underworld. So obviously the Demobats. Um, the second is off of a science fantasy novel, The Wrinkle in Time. Camazotz is the name of the dark planet ensnared by a malevolent presence. During the filming of season 5, the Duffer Brothers posted a picture of the novel's cover on Instagram, hinting at the novel significance. So I'm curious if
Oh,
the
so that novel itself was hinted at already.
yes. So I'm curious though what the dark planet is. If it's going to be our reality covered in darkness, or if it's going to be the planet that Vecna's or reality that Vecna's been living on, and maybe they go there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. He's not really on a planet though, is he? Like,
Not playing like a reality. I don't know what the right terminology is for the different planes of existence in Stranger Things. Because we have obviously like our reality, then we have the upside down, then we have Vecna's mindscape, I guess, and then we have that place where Vecna was trapped on. I don't know if that and the mindscape are the same place or if they're different places, but I'm not sure.
Interesting.
And if they're the same as the upside down, I'm not. I don't know. I'm assuming they're different places, but yeah. That was the one word that kind of stuck out to me too. That was like, what the fuck does this mean? Like,
So,
I initially thought that was gonna be like a play on like Escape from Camelot and have like something like medieval, kind of like have them all be like dressed up as knights or something.
like to me, once I saw that, I was like, that's too specific of a name. There's got to be something. And from what I'm seeing is, I did see the Bat God. It's honestly, it's more of a the bats themselves, I think, are called Kamatots within D&D lore.
Okay.
So it could be Bat God, but like from what I could tell, like it's more of the name of the creatures. Like here is on one of the about pages on this is from 5e SRD. So which this is the more modern edition. So things could change over because they're pretty much playing 1e during all of this. First edition that is. Like the first paragraph is like fearful peasants tell the children when they hear great flapping quietly in the dark, it's a great bat, the Kamatots. These terrifying creatures are native to the rainforest and lower mountain regions of equatorial lands. Kamatots represents a giant black bat with expansive membrane wings and elongated head, dominated by its oversized jaw. So kind of like the Demigorgon in a way, where it's like they're just giving it a name to a beast that they see. So I can definitely see it being one of like a I won't say a lackey, but like a big boy bat that's like in charge. I guess before like in charge of the other ones. That's kind
So
of like
my guess is it's going to be kind of a combination of both because escape from obviously means that they went somewhere, which in my guess is they went to Vecna's mindscape reality somehow, some way. And when they're escaping, they have to deal with the bats because the bats have been the biggest problem for them in the upside down world.
Yep.
And my other guess is because there are obviously rumors and all these things of the fact that Eddie is not dead and that he becomes a servant of Vecna.
No.
Oh.
No.
It could happen because we all know
the
Duffer Brothers love to kill off characters and bring them back.
I will say no for a multitude of reasons, but me being a film guy, this is where I say no. The man has had an extremely busy filming schedule between Fantastic Four and Gladiator, and I just don't know if he had time to come back for anything for this.
He's in the new Gladiators? I don't know that.
Yep.
Also, I'll say this too. Dustin want to leave him.
Yeah.
I think he's very similar on the upside, the regular side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dustin would not leave his ass.
And that's why I think he would be alive, because I think that would be the biggest emotional pull for some of our characters, especially Dustin. Because Dustin obviously would have the guilt. It'd be like the whole Darth Vader Obi-Wan storyline where it's like Obi-Wan thought he was dead, left him for dead, and then Anakin / Vader obviously comes back and is evil, and Obi-Wan's like, oh fuck, like, you know, I let this happen to you. I can see that parallel because the Duffer Brothers obviously love their 80s throwbacks, and that would be definitely a big one to throw out. Having Eddie come back and be evil and Dustin having to face him.
The other thing too,
assuming they bring him back as an evil character, who knows?
Yeah. The other thing too, I want to bring up because we did kind of mention it on episode 6 or 7. I think it was 6 is when that's the one that Nancy had the vision. Yeah, episode 6. Because we do have that image of that large creature in the back in her vision as well.
Yes.
We did talk about it on air, if I remember correctly. Or did we or no? What that could be.
Yes, from the D&D world, we did talk about that in that episode.
Okay, because yeah, because that's the other thing too is like is we do see one interacting with the mind flare, but that large entity was something that can be completely different.
Yeah.
And if it is something with multiple heads, that is possibly Hydra-like, or it could go more heavier into D&D lore and be one of the big bads from all of D&D, which is Tiamat, who is the leader of the Chromatic Dragons. And like that is, if they really wanted to go with Vecna's a very, very good like lich one to use, but Tiamat is very much like a lot of campaigns have him being the one who is going to be like revived and the bringer of the apocalypse comes with Tiamat.
So I think all of this is going to tie down to the last couple episodes, and it's going to answer a couple of our questions. I know Mitchell kind of poked at the bear of who's going to die in this season. I think there's going to be some sort of big ass battle, and it's going to be another divided front where I think, assuming our theory with Max is correct, I think it's going to be a Max 11 mental fight with Vecna. Possibly Will if they play the whole plot line of him getting powers or something, or him being connected to Vecna. I think the rest of the party is going to have to fight this dragon creature. So we all know this show is not going to end pretty. There's definitely going to be some sort of death of some kind.
Consequences, yeah.
I think it's going to be death. Someone has to get killed off if they really want to make the stakes super high in this one. So
yeah,
my money is on Hopper and Mike or Will.
Honestly, I think if you really want the stakes to go as high as possible, it might be Lucas.
You think so?
Because the fact that he has his sister, he has his Max, like he has 3 strong connections right now that he is spoked from. If he is removed, I do think that leaves a big void, because the fact that he just reunited with all 3 of them, and with Max just going through what she just did, I think flipping it the other way could alter things too. Like honestly, my top 2 would probably be Lucas and Dustin.
Okay.
I don't think they'll kill Dustin, but like I think
Yeah.
if you want emotional impact, it will be Lucas.
I refuse to believe they're going to kill anybody until I see it. That's my prediction.
They've killed people. They've killed.
They've killed people that were in it for 1 season.
And you know what? Bob was a heartfelt character. He was the heart of the team, unlike Mike.
I mean, fair, but again,
and they killed Eddie off.
One season. Again, 1 season.
I agree.
They're going to kill off They're going to kill off Linda Hamilton. That's what they're going to do.
Well, speaking of Linda, who the fuck do you think Linda Hamilton is going to play?
I think Lyndall Hamilton, as we keep trying to come.
Who is this person?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Connor. Sarah Connor from Terminator to start off the big name. Mitchell is hiding himself in his sweatshirt.
Dude, I don't know actress and actresses. I'm sorry.
Have you never seen Terminator 2?
I have seen Terminator. I have seen Terminator 2. I couldn't tell you actress.
Terminator 2. She's Sarah Connor.
I know who that is. Yes, I do not know her name.
Her name is Linda Hamilton. You show some fucking respect.
I'm sorry. Like
Terminator was one of the greatest movies of all time.
I agree
You
with
show
that.
some respect.
I agree with
And how do
that
you not know who Linda Hamilton is?
because I don't know actresses' names.
Well, you're in a shit. You won't remember Linda Hamilton now.
I probably will forget this episode.
Damn it.
I'm sorry, man. That's how it is.
Well,
I had
that's who
I
that
thought
is.
I had to like recurrently see you. Like I always like I get people confused all the time. Like it's a bad.
Linda Hamilton is Sarah Connor in Terminator, in The Terminator, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and Terminator Dark Fate, which we just won't talk about.
Yes, push your corner.
But yeah, no,
yeah.
staple of the 80s. Well, I guess Terminator 2 was technically the 90s, but some people like to push it into the 80s. So having Linda Hamilton there is certainly going to be a nice presence. It's going to be a, hey, don't you remember Linda Hamilton? Now, what she actually does in this season, I don't know.
So she's in this season. You guys never really clarified that.
If I had to guess, she would be some sort of like agent coming after them, I guess.
So I have two thoughts. My first one is kind of on the same line as you, Mitchell. I think she might be part of the military side because we haven't talked about the military, what role they're going to play, but it's gonna be a shit show with them. But I can see her being some sort of officer that kind of floats in between Dr. Owens and the Colonel and kind of plays both sides and trying to help them out. My second theory, which I don't think it'll happen, but there's one character that is important to one of our characters' lives that we have not met yet, and that's Hopper's wife or ex-wife. And Hopper's a badass character, so I can see him having been married to a badass woman. Granted, we've seen her on camera for a hot second with the flashbacks.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I could see her coming back for some reason, because that would also be another way for them to throw a wrench into him and Joyce's relationship, because they've always had the rocky relationship the entire show. So why not throw another issue in there, like an ex coming back? But I don't know. I could see either of those coming back, but they haven't revealed any information about her character, so I'm very curious to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think that happens.
I don't think so either. I'm just trying to think of other ways or other relations that she can be known for to come back, other than just being a completely random new character that they throw in for the final season.
Who knows? I don't.
Yeah, she was really the only notable new cast member, which is there's no news on Argyle or Susie, whether or not they're coming back or not. So I'm hoping they come back and we get the full cast. But supposedly Susie and Argyle might not be in the season.
That'd be kind of tragic, honestly.
Yeah, so
I can see them not doing anything with Susie, but I do think you got to bring Argyle back. I know I was hard on him early on, but he found his place. He found his purpose. You were on the right trajectory with him. He's certainly better than other people that you'll be bringing back. So bring him back.
But
I'm thinking as well. Like
Connor's deep in thought now.
I'm literally looking at like lists of like 80s movies that are like, because I'm just kind of refamiliarizing myself with like movies from that era, and like
Terminator.
Yes.
Starring Linda Hamilton.
Yes, I now know that.
You should have known it already.
I can definitely, because they are older, and I was just thinking of like the whole plot devices and stuff. Like, I can also maybe see like a possible like new faction come up, where it is like.
Was this Divergent?
I don't know the right word to put this, but like the people who hunt for cryptids. Like UFO chasers and people who want to look for Bigfoot and shit. Like I can see them actually being a factor.
That would be a boring way to take that. Maybe I just have
But here's the
whiplash
way
because I just saw that in
Hey,
Venom and it was
let
awful.
let the man cook, Mitchell.
and I can see them be like because like kind of like how kind of very Murray-esque but more nerdy. That's how I can see something of that where it's like no, because I was thinking like Ghostbusters, for example. Like they have the stupid toaster that captures the ghost, and like kind of that kind of shit. Like I can see them getting into more technological stuff because of the fact that like they are older, and no, who knows in this past year what's going on there.
Yeah, I would not like to see that because we're already stretching the limits as far as what Murray can do because like now he knows kung fu. Like I think we're kind of stretching it with
I'm
Murray a
not
bit.
saying Murray. I'm not saying
I love,
Murray knows. I'm saying that
but
But
someone like
Murray was a conspiracy theorist, so seeing more of his type of character come into play.
like
I'm
kind of like a
fine with the
foil.
one.
I'm saying like a foil to Murray is what I'm saying. Like Murray seeing a reflection of himself, but like the weird psycho, like who's
Yeah,
off the edge.
I could see that.
I can see
Or
them doing it, but I can also see me going, "That was stupid. Kill that guy."
We don't
ooh,
know. We don't know.
hold on. What if she's Dimitri's wife?
No, now we're
Is she
just
is she Russian
no.
looking?
I don't know.
Who gives a damn,
She
Did we
could be.
get
man?
did we get confirmation of Dimitri being in America?
I don't know, but I'm sure he would be because he's a traitor to the Russians. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Owens pulled some sort of trick to get him out of there. Actually,
Well,
come to think of it, we don't know if Dr. Owens could have gotten him out of there
or if he's still under wraps of the military.
because Dimitri and Yuri escaped with Hopper and Joyce, and Hopper and Joyce got picked up by Dr. Owens. So that who's to say that they didn't pick them up too and just didn't show them on
Well,
screen?
we never got confirmation that Dr. Owens was the one who picked them up, though.
Yes, because they showed up in the government cars at the end. When Hopper and Joyce got to the cabin, they were driven by the agents.
They were driven by the agents, but it wasn't
Who are
Dr. Owens.
well, they're controlled by Dr. Owens.
It's his people,
All
but
right,
we don't know.
his people.
I'm saying his people, yes, but we don't know. We don't because we knew we got in touch with the agent, but we don't know. We don't know the actual situation on Dr. Owens because last we saw him was in handcuffs in the military base.
Yes. All right, so maybe
I would not.
Owens.
I would not guarantee that he's still safe. He's still quote unquote safe from the military. I can see him like I can see a scene with him being like waterboarded or something.
Okay. But either way, I meant like Dr. Owens' group.
Yeah, the group, yes,
Could
yes,
have them.
I could definitely see that. All right,
So that's all I got. Do you guys have any other
Yeah.
predictions of what might happen?
no,
No.
all right, yeah, it's
This
a
is gonna be a rough season for us to watch because it's gonna be hard to stay away from spoilers, and it's gonna take us a little while to get through it.
I'm quite good at staying away from spoilers, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I deleted Twitter off my phone, so made that a little easier.
Little late, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, man! Election season will do it to you. You're like, I need to get off of this.
I got off of that, I think, a year and a half ago, maybe even two at this point.
Hey, good job.
Yeah.
I'm still not off of it. It's just deleted off my phone. I'm weaning myself off slowly.
Blue sky, baby. Let's go.
I don't need an alternative. This is meant to be out of the game entirely, not an alternative. So
now we simply sit and wait for the announcement of when season 5 officially comes out. I've heard that it's going to be coming out sooner than expected, so maybe early 2025. Who's to say?
yeah, I'm thinking maybe it might be, from what I've heard, more like late spring, early summer, but I probably wrong about that. It's probably going to be like October. So
Who knows?
We'll see.
Once the trailer releases, we'll probably do another episode. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, no, we'll know when an actual trailer releases.
That's what I'm saying, but we would do an episode, with the trailer because I would want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it'll be 48 minutes long, and the trailer will be a minute 25.
That's real. We had a good 20 minutes of discussion of not Stranger Things. Let's
True, yeah.
Stranger Things plus extra in daily life.
Plus nonsense. All right, here we go.
All right, buddy. That is it for Stranger Nerds for this week. Follow us on socials, not X because it's hell. And but wherever we are on the other ones,
you can follow me. I just won't be doing anything.
Exactly. But that's it for us. So have a good one.
Or don't.